How much of a threat are oil prices to the recovery and the economy? Right here, from our vantage point, looking at leading indicators of the economy, they're not much of a threat. Oil prices spiking do not dictate that the economy is going to take a hit and go down. It is going to cost more to drive, and it's going to cost more for food. But there's a feedback loop that's already started. Production has gone up, hiring is firming, wages are firming, so you can actually afford to spend a little bit more. A spike in oil will not derail this economy anytime soon.
So fuel prices won't affect the economy, but you'll be spending more for food and gas. But don't worry, because you can afford it now. Can you? Can you afford high food prices and high gas prices? Can I? Can this economy? I don't know. Hello, viewers. Hello, Monday. And welcome to another episode. I had a great discussion last night with a good friend about gas prices. Now, we all know the interest I have in politics and policies, but let me tell you, the interest does not spread over all of my relationships. Many of my friends don't actively seek out new policy changes and the possible consequences those might bring. So is it any wonder why people are again starting to become concerned with the rising gas prices? What is the cause? How can we fix it? And what is being done to fix the current problem? First off, I find it odd that the last time this crisis manifested, there was an outcry. The former president administration was in bed with the oil companies and the oil industry and encouraging the rise in prices. But this time around, it's not that big of a deal. It seems. Why? Is it complacency? Maybe. Or maybe we are just hoping the situation will fix itself and go away. I'll probably go with the latter. That sounds like I'd like to just wish it away. I don't find myself complacent, but I don't want to really think about it either. On the surface, it looks like the crisis in the Middle East is the source of the turmoil and the rising gas prices and the crazy markets. And yeah, that'd be partly correct. However, the rise in price had been forecasted even before Tunisia started the riot fire. Now, according to the Heritage Foundation, analysts had predicted that gas prices would rise to $4 a gallon by this summer and $5 a gallon by 2012. All right, with no protests going on at the time, where did this analysis come from? Where do they draw their conclusions? Well, we sometimes when a lot of other stuff's going on, we forget what happened before. And yeah, China and India are economies that are booming, and as of consequence, are demanding larger and larger quantities of oil. Now, I am no economist, but I am a thinker. And it only makes sense to me that in order to battle these increases on demand, you would up your own production. Right? Why was Walmart so successful? Was it because they had a revolutionary idea that depending on other people to supply and make their goods would decrease your prices or their prices for you to come buy the products from them? Not really. They created an internal machine of supply. They created their own trucking company in order to sell products at a lower price to consumers. They, in essence, increased their own production and supply methods. Now, they didn't reinvent the wheel. They didn't try to invent hovercrafts that used meteorite dust as fuel. But I feel we are doing exactly the opposite. There's no sign that the current administration wants to increase our current supply of oil, and it's squeezing us to death. Here's some possibilities. What about the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge, where an estimated 10 billion barrels of oil are beneath a few thousand acres that can be accessed with minimal environmental impact? Those 10 billion barrels are equivalent to 16 years worth of imports from Saudi Arabia at the current rate that they pump it out to us. Or how about last fall, Interior Secretary Salazar, he said that the Eastern Gulf of Mexico, the Atlantic coast, the Pacific coast will not be developed, banning drilling in those areas for the next 7 years. At least 19 billion barrels of oil are easily recoverable off the currently restricted Pacific and Atlantic coasts and in the Gulf of Mexico, the Eastern Gulf of Mexico. But instead, the administration is going to tap in to our reserves in order to reduce gas prices. Now, again, I am no economist. But how does going into our strategic reserves strike any confidence in the oil market and consumers? If I was broke and need to go into my emergency fund in order to pay my bills, how does that affect my long-term situation for the better? It doesn't. In fact, it only makes it worse. Only one new permit has been accepted to allow drilling in the Gulf. One since the disaster back in April. Now, yes, researching different oil or different energy sources is fine and probably going to be a necessity at some point in the future. But when you start searching for a new job, do you just quit your current one? What would that happen to your financial situation? Do you just quit in order to push you harder to find a new one? Because obviously you're going to have to find one pretty quick, otherwise you're going to be underwater. Well, maybe you'll find that job, but maybe you won't. Now, all this research and money and political reputations that are going into the production of corn fuels, the biofuels, the wind power, the solar power, this is essentially the new job that America's economy is trying to pursue. But instead of putting in the 2-week notice that'll help the transition go smoothly, we're going, hey, I ain't showing up to work tomorrow. Really? You're just going to cut it off like that? You know, that kind of scares me when I heard this statistic, and that is wood power. And when I say wood power, I mean taking wood, putting it into an oven, lighting it on fire, or a fireplace, or whatever, lighting it on fire, the energy that produces, the energy that cooks your roast when you go to an awesome barbecue restaurant, that kind of power has a higher percentage of use in this country than bio, wind, and solar combined. Is this the kind of job I want to is oil the kind of job I just want to forget and start looking for this other job with no means of running the country? I don't think so. There's no secret formula to fix our energy crisis. There's only common sense. Thanks for watching. Empowering you to take back this country. We'll talk to you guys very soon.